I'm so proud to be able to invite the Scribs Spelling Bee champion, Monica Chowdhury, to our classroom.
That is correct.
Monica Chowdhury? You won the spelling bee. And you're like a legit celebrity.
I guess.
You are both connected by a deep love for your mother. Join forces like Farhan and Zoya.
Farhan and Zoya?
They are brother-sister Bollywood power duo.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
Google it, you fools!
You can't just take care of people your whole life without taking care of yourself.
You're pathetic. You got nothing else to do than live at home in your mom's basement and be with little kids in your spare time.
I don't live in the basement. I'm on the second floor. I have my own bathroom. You know that. Why did you come back?
It was never good enough for you. Sonny protected you for so long. Maybe it's your turn to protect him.
We promised each other that we would get out of this boring-ass town and do big things.
Ladies first.
I don't see any ladies. All I see is a badass bitch.
Okay.
Boom, there you go. That was the trailer for Definition Please, streaming right now, y'all, on Netflix. And I'm so excited to talk with my good pal, Natasha, here with the NRW. And I am Kuya P. I forgot to introduce myself because I'm so excited to talk all about Definition Please. Yeah, it was so good, but I'll hold that even more to the review. Because I should have I spoiled it. I already gave you a spoiler.
Yeah, you did.
It was so good. But yeah, we're so excited to talk about this. Natasha, how are you? How have you been first before we get rolling?
I am doing great. I'm still trying to recover from like wedding and everything. But no, that movie was just so much fun. I mean, we'll talk about it in a second. And yeah, I'm just really excited to talk about it because it was a gem. But yeah.
Yes. So spoilers already. But
I know.
Yeah. So you saw a little bit from the trailer but just a little bit more of a synopsis for you all. Monica Chowdhury is 8-year-old spelling bee champion. As it were, you know, I've been through the spelling bee ranks as well. Not to that degree where I went all the way to scripts, although I have started when I was as an older actor, I did appear in some scripts pieces that filmed here in the DC area. FYI, so if you look at my IMDb, you're like, what? He was in there, but no, I didn't compete. I was just an actor for some segments for the spelling bee. But anyway, Monica Chowdhury is a young champion, but fast forward within the film, she's still living at home in Greensburg, Pennsylvania, taking care of her ailing mother, Jaya, played by Anna Kaja. And if I'm mispronouncing names, I apologize. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna do my best. But yeah, she's, was an 8-year-old spelling champion, but still taking care of her mother as we do as immigrants. So she's there. She's still taking care of her mother, and for a job, she's tutoring other would-be spelling bee champions, overachievers, if you will, at other homes. And while she's doing that, her older brother, Sunny, played by Ratish Rajan, appears out of the blue to come be with the family and see the ailing mother. And that leads into other issues that we'll talk about with our review aspect of it. But it is a very real story, y'all. It really hit close to home because it deals with issues of mental illness, mental health, stereotypes, cultural expectations, societal expectations, adulthood. It was insane in regards to that. It covered a lot of beats to it. So that is kind of just a gist of the story. I'll give you a little bit more when we get into the review. But let me toss it over now, bring in Natasha. Let's talk a little bit about this cast. I'm really excited to talk about Sujata today. If you've been on the channel, I actually had the pleasure of talking to Sujata before I saw this film, which sucks. I usually like to see the film before I interview them. But yeah, she's the writer, director, the star. You know her from Insecure and Awkward Black Girl. Just a very talented, amazing woman in Sujata. What did you think of her as Monica Chowdhury and just this work, being that she constructed all of this, Natasha?
Yeah, I was really blown away by the fact that not only she starred in it, but she also directed. And this is her director debut, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then on top of that, I was doing research. I found out that she has the same birthday as me. So I was like, oh, cool. Like, I love her even more. Yeah, I felt like she did such an excellent job of capturing, just being child of an immigrant and trying to struggle between being a good daughter, but also trying to achieve her dream. So, she of course wants to be there, but also it's a struggle because we always want to be their parents. We always want to give back to our parents. But, in the movie, it's really trying to show like when are you going to actually live up to your dreams rather than, staying in that role or staying in that place, because she has been building on that's I guess homegrown celebrity kind of stardom, which is great, but I feel like she could do more. And I feel her best friend even insisted and encouraged her. So I think that's really great. And I also loved Ritesh. He's from Asian Bachelorette, right?
I believe so.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure. Ritesh Rajan, who plays Sunny Chowdhury, was in Russian Doll and Disney's The Jungle Book. And I'm just coming off of the EPK right now, but I'd have to look at the full IMDb. But oh no, amazing as the older brother.
Yeah, he was. I really liked how he captured being that older brother, but also the way he was struggling with things. There were certain things about him that you could feel his hurt and pain. So there weren't times that you felt like, oh no, he's a bad person. It's not that he's a bad person. He's just gone through certain things. So he perfectly captured that, where you sympathize with him and you want to be there for him. So yeah, honestly, the cast, I just was blown away. The mom was really great. I don't know if we can spoil it, but I just love the mom and how she, was just trying to get them to get together, and just also the fact that the mom, she was quite frank about mental issues or what the brother was going through. So I did appreciate that, and how they weren't trying to hold that stigma against it. It's more like they just wanted him to be better. They just wanted Sunny to be better. But yeah, what about you? What do you think?
Oh, again, yeah, totally love this cast. And to give love and light to the mom Jaya Chowdhury is played by Anna Kaja, who you know from The Good Place as well as Silicon Valley. And then real briefly, just shout out to the rest of the cast that include Jake Choi, Lalaine as Krista. We also had Parvish Chena, Eugene Bird, Waylon Rhymes, Katrina Bowden, LeVar Burton, who I was shocked to see.
Same here. I was like, they got LeVar. I was like, dang, that's it. They already got him. So
brilliant casting. But the key was getting the family right. And I even when I was talking to Sujata, you had to get the brother-sister relationship right. And Ritesh Rajan, brilliant, along with the mom, but just that brother-sister dynamic had to be there. And like you said, you could see just the fighting of emotions written across Ritesh's face in certain situations. Like he didn't want to be bad but it just, he's been through so much that you could see the torture just from an actor standpoint. I was like looking at that, bro, like, you can see it through the hand movement, but then you got to read it. And that's when you can lose yourself in a character, and he just beautiful. So just well done by the cast. And from what I understand, I have to go back to the interview, but I think they met in like an improv or acting class together, and then
they did
later on they're like, yeah, you're gonna be my film. And so that was just beautiful. And apparently, true story, this film was inspired from, I think, an improv session within her acting class, but also it has real roots with Sujata, because she actually did compete in a spelling bee when she was a kid, and she lost on the word radish.
What? Radish?
Yeah, I was like, what? Yeah. So that was it was a wild, crazy take, but could totally relate. So that's kind of like a breakdown on the cast and a little bit of story. Let's just get into the meat. Yeah, we're spoilers, people.
We are.
So just FYI, go check it out. It's on Netflix right now. I love this film, but as an immigrant, it's like, I felt this. Like, I know people like this. I know it for myself, but just that, the title alone, definition, please. It's something that, if you've competed in a spelling bee, to stall a little bit, but I think we as immigrants, that next generation that are under the parents, we're trying to define ourselves. We're trying to, this spoke to me on so many levels. Let me throw it back to you, because I'm trying to get my words together. How close did you feel with this in like as a person, as I think we all, as we go into adulthood, trying to find ourselves and figure out who we are.
Yeah, I totally agree, and it really resonated with me because I, even though I'm not the youngest, as Sujata's character, I am the oldest, so I do relate to wanting to be there for the family and always just putting myself in that role and not realizing how heavy and how much of that burden it is because she wants to be, correct me if I'm wrong, clinical technician.
Yeah.
And it's tough because it reminded me of my mom trying to push me into the criminal justice field and being like, this is all I know, so I want you to be it. But for me, I had to break away and be like, no, like, this is not what I want. Like, my real dream it lies elsewhere. And you feel guilty for kind of putting down your parents' dreams or letting them down in a way, because it's not that you want to, it's not like you're trying to hurt them, but in a way you really need to let go and live your own life because I think at the end of the day, regardless of our parents' expectations, they just want us to be happy. And even if that means letting them down a little bit or going off in a path that they never saw or are unfamiliar, it's letting them know at the end of the day, like, I'm happy, I'm doing this and I'm happy. And also just in terms of the story, just going back to, the brother sister, I really appreciated how both of them like navigated the story between siblings because it's this broken relationship, and we always talk about romantic connections and relationships in movies, so I appreciate just talking about families and the relationships and the bonds between them because there's a different layer between them, right? There's just so many complex layers. There's culture, there's also the roles we played growing up, and I appreciate that, and I felt it, and how they could swing back from being connected and like talking and bantering to I want to kill you in this 1 second because that's just what it means. That's just what it means to be siblings. You love them no matter what, and you're able to kind of change that relationship. But I could see how Sonia was really just struggling to be that happy brother, but it was tough for him. So yeah, I feel like I think both characters resonated with me. I don't know,
same. Yeah, I'm sorry.
You're fine.
I completely agree with you, Natasha, and that's so well said. Yeah, I felt Ronnie. Is it Ronnie? Am I getting? Yeah, I felt Natasha. No, you're Natasha. I felt Monica, and
Monica.
I lost my notes. My notes got off track. But the brother, Sunny, Monica and Sunny. Okay, there we go. I'm back on track. I could definitely relate to both, and yeah, just that journey, and just I just love to see this because again, I talk about it a lot with some other reviews, and just it's always great to see when people of color are represented and tell these kind of stories, and we're not pigeonholed into the same positions. And so, actually, going back to my conversation that I had with Sujata, she's been in this business for a while, but yet, we don't get a lot of roles brought our way, or there's a stereotype. So another beautiful thing I got to say as well about this is for a South Asian, it's always, we're doctors, lawyers, or whatever, engineers that kind of pigeonhole us into that stereotype. But here, she was a champion as a kid, but then she's just nowhere as an adult. She's trying to define herself and seek herself, which, if you've seen a lot, you don't see that with South Asians. They don't get that portrayal. So she directed this piece as her first film out the gate to just, let's change those norms. Let's create our own definitions. Cause, as Filipinos, we get like nurses and, or doctors or just the help, and it's all about changing that. And so I love that for Sujata and the South Asian community. I'm going to try and do that for myself as the Southeast Asian community, as Filipinos. Right. And, but no, what did you think of that as representation as well?
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. I mean, on the one side, I learned more about the Indian culture and just like the Indian rituals and everything. Because I had to pause a couple times just to be like, what's a Havan? I was like, I'm saying this right? Like, what is this? And it was really great to learn about that because there weren't a lot of like Indian community when I was growing up. Because I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood. So I was like, oh, okay, just learning more about that. And also just seeing that representation reflected back on them and not having to deal with, like racism or like other big things. Instead, they're just living their lives. And as you said, like she's just trying to find herself. And yeah, I do would do appreciate when we're not trying to be lawyers or doctors. We're just trying to be ourselves, just trying to be mediocre, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with being that.
I love that. It's okay to be mediocre. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that film kind of illustrates that as well, or whatever you're going to find yourself as,
Exactly.
or, I love that. I love that you said that.
Because there's enough dancers, there's enough singers. They're like, okay, yeah, that's great. Like more power to you. But I'm like, that's not me. I can't dance. I can't sing. Like that's fine. That's fine where I'm at. And that's fine where, Monica was. And that was just fine. Like her finding herself as well. And even Sunny, Sunny did share how it was heartbreaking for him having to be compared to peers who became lawyers, doctors. And he's like, that's not me.
He just wanted to be a fitness guy.
He just wanted to be a fitness guy. I mean, maybe it was a multi-level marketing. I don't know what it was for sure.
Yeah, that did come sort of like, I was like, hold up, is he in a pyramid scheme?
I know, I was like, is he okay. I guess my biggest critique is if they had gone a little bit deeper in his condition and the abuse he endured, because I feel like there were only fragments of that. And I'm just like, oh, like, why can't we talk a little bit more about that? Let's just, just hear more about his side. But I can see it was her story, right? It's Monica's story. So at the end of the day, it's just showing that they still made up, or not that it's like a perfect happy ending. It's more like they're working towards it. And I commend them for talking about it and being more frank about it. I think I already mentioned that. And I also would have wanted to hear, did he change his medication? Because I remember that was something they were talking about of like, did that help and stuff? Because he was working out and he seemed happy. So I'm like, did he change his, I would have appreciated that. But that's my only critique.
No, you know what? I didn't even think about my critiques. So Natasha's being a lot more professional than I am with my reviews right now. I didn't even think about that aspect because I was just glossed over. I just love this film that, you know what? Thinking about it now, that those 2 points, I would definitely agree. Would have been a lot cleaner or smoother to add in there. But overall, to me, I think this is a film that anybody can relate to, and no matter your race, color, creed, or whatever. We all go through these struggles, we all know people like that, and if not for ourselves.
And like I said, like when it comes to family and bonds, it's harder to navigate. It's more complex, but they still did it in a way that perfectly captured it. You felt like the bond of the family. You still felt them trying to still get along and navigate everything. So I really love this film. I actually wanted more after it ended. I was like, is that it? I want to know more about her and more about Sunny. I don't know what else to say, but I really recommend this movie to everyone. And like you said, Creepy, like this is something that everyone can relate to. We've all gone through struggles. We're all trying to find ourselves, trying to find our dreams, and we might stumble along the way. But I think this is a movie that perfectly encapsulates that.
Yes. Natasha killing it out the gate with our first review together. Her and I doing a review together for the NRW. I completely agree. And I'm still seeking out my definition. And, and that's okay,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also, I think, like you, I was also part of a spelling bee competition. I didn't make it up there, but I also love that because I love words. So when she would pause and define words, I thought that was so funny.
Oh, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up because I was getting ready to sign out. But yeah, that was a very cool and unique element too throughout the film that was really cool. And that was a good bonus right there. I like that.
Yeah, I cracked up when it came to define the butt. That guy's butt. And I was like, oh, okay. So you learn new words. Well, so I thought that was a fun way to really show that words are still part of her life, regardless of how old she is.
Yeah. Nah, I love that. Yeah. Just, it was so cool, so cute, so well written. So I can't wait for more of what Sujata's going to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like she knocked it out the ballpark with this. She's winning all the awards. It's no wonder that Ava picked it up with the Right Now. So that way it's now on Netflix and it's getting more out there. I can't wait for her future projects. She's insanely talented. So shout out to Sujata Day. Shout out to Ritesh. Shout out to the whole cast. And I'm looking forward to more of amazing work like this because she's killing it. But bravo, and this was a great film. I highly recommend. Before we get up out of here, if y'all have any suggestions, maybe another film that Natasha and I could review together, let us know in the comments. But before we leave out, Natasha, do you have any socials or anything you want to throw out there for people to hit us up at?
Yes, you may find me on the Moon Forces on Twitter and on Instagram. I'm Tushing with 3Gs. Don't know why I added 3Gs, but it sounded cool at the time.
You need to have 5Gs because that's what it's all about right now, right? 5G.
What if it's already taken? Because someone was like, oh, 5G.
I love it. Give Natasha all the love. Give her all the follows. For me, it's the Legend Kuya P on Twitter, TikTok, on IG. Of course, Show Pal Show for that Filipinx content, y'all.
Yes.
And of course, here with Natasha and the whole squad at the NRW and at New Release Wednesday, where nerds rule the world. That was our breakdown of Definition Please. A great film. Highly recommend. Shout out to Sujata Day again and all the cast. We can't wait to do more of these reviews for y'all. We're out of here.
Yes. Go watch it.
There we go.